Right, welcome back. It's time for Data Point, and tonight we're focusing on what the Kenya Revenue Authority has been able to do the past 12 months up until 30th of June 2023, and of course the road ahead for KRA and you as a citizen. Of course, the results that we got is that they were able to attain 2.16 trillion shillings of revenue. This is in form of taxes that KRA was able to collect. This is the highest they have ever in the history of revenue collection in the country. The target, though, was 2.27 trillion shillings, meaning they missed it by about 5%, or to be optimistic, they met the target by 95%. So what they were not able to collect is 107 billion shillings, and that's according to the Kenya Revenue Authority. Something of importance to note is that the previous year, that is the year ending June 30th, 2022, KRA collected 2.03 trillion shillings, which was one of the best performances in terms of hitting targets. The targets had been revised several times, but they were able to settle at that. And now with this, the improvement is 135 billion shillings for this for the financial year ended 30th of June, which is 6.6% improvement. Then, something of importance is that the current target, this is the Kenya Revenue Authority themselves, they're saying that they want to hit 2.768 trillion shillings. What does that mean? That based on the current achievement of 2.166, they are hoping to collect 602 billion shillings more on top of what they've been able to do. That would be a 27% jump. We'll be looking at the possibility of hitting that. But also in the financial year of 2024-2025, this is by June 30th of 2025, they want to collect 3 trillion shillings, which is a target that was given by President William Ruto in a bid to ensure that there's more revenue being collected from the country. These are some of the drivers that would make sure that KRA is able to attain that immediate target of 2.7 trillion shillings. The Finance Act of 2023 was amending several laws that guide on how to collect revenue, how to collect levies and taxes. It was going to give government 311 billion shillings. You know what has happened as of now? The Court of Appeal this afternoon declined to lift the suspension of that act. So that, of course, affects the success of that act as of now. VAT on fuel alone, that is the petroleum products that you're buying at the moment with an imposed tax of 16%, never mind that this has already been suspended by the courts. It is supposed to give the government some 51 billion shillings. The housing tax, if it is to be implemented starting the end of this month, then that should give the government 73 billion shillings. And of course, the other taxes that have been introduced, including the digital content tax of 5% withholding tax, or the turnover tax that has been revised to 3% for persons making revenues of between 1 million shillings and 25 million shillings in a year. So all these taxes would have been able to guide and enable the KRA to collect up to 311 billion shillings as per the target of the government. Now, with that not available at the moment, then it obviously affects the fortunes of the authority. Now, as of the current financial year, 2023-2024, the budget is 3.68 trillion shillings. And this is how the government plans to finance it. The total revenues, which is taxes and other revenues, it would be 2.92 trillion shillings. And to fix the deficit, which is a gap of 718 billion shillings, then it would have to be borrowed from both the external market and the domestic market. For external market, it's over 130 billion shillings. For the domestic market, it's about 586 billion shillings to finance that gap. Now, also, the current financial year, there are certain things that the government must do. For instance, the debt redemptions of 850 billion shillings. These are payments that have to be made of maturing loans, including an external debt service of 475.6 billion shillings. And this is very important. There's a Eurobond that is maturing in June 2024, up to 241 billion shillings. Why this is important is because once the government collects revenue, the first charge is on debt repayment. And these are some of the things that have to be done. So there is the repayment of debt, the principal that has matured, but there's also the debt servicing in terms of the interest that you have to pay because the cost of money has to be financed. These are just some of the issues that the government is having to deal with. The Kenya Revenue Authority has 95% attainment of the revenue target. It has set a new target of 2.7 trillion shillings, but there are certain realities that they must be open to realize that. And of course, something more that is important to take note of is the high inflation rate. At the moment, as of the Central Bank of Kenya data, in June, the inflation rate was 8.77 trillion shilling. 8.7%. The economic growth is projected to be 6.1%. That is by the National Treasury. The Kenya Revenue Authority, again, is targeting to raise that revenue by 27%. But we can look at the growth. The last 5 years, revenue has grown by 37%. KRA is hoping to grow it by 27% in 12 months. And then again, the average growth has been 7.4% every year. To get to 27%, a lot of work has to be done. And of course, these are figures from the Central Bank of Kenya, KRA, and the National Treasury. And that is Data Point tonight.